Welcome to the show, everyone. You know, I talk about my show a lot, and I love it. I just love this show. And I've been doing it now almost 19 years here. And what I love about it the most, and I say it all the time, is number one, the information that people get to hear, what's on, all these different things. But you know what? I also love my guests. And right now I have with me Alexandra Seals, and she's the owner of King's World of Marble. And we're going to hear talk a little bit about cracks and fixing people's cracks. We're going to talk a little bit about what she does and how
Not that kind of cracks, just get you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's what I love about her. Is first of all, she's got a great sense of humor too. And we're live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. And you know, it's almost January, it's almost done. Can you imagine?
No, time is flying.
Well, welcome back to the show. I want you, first of all, you've got to talk a little bit about King's World of Marble, because the word on the street is that if King's World of Marble can't fix it, nobody can. And we want to talk a little bit about what you do and what makes you different.
Well, first of all, what we do is full restoration and repair and maintenance on all natural stone. So it's not just marble, not just granite, but all natural stone. So that's the first thing we do. So we fix cracks and chips and modify and all kinds of stuff and make it all nice and pretty and shiny again. Okay, we've been doing that for now 30 years, actually. 30 years here in Phoenix. Prior to that, we had a full fabrication shop. And so that kind of helped, to have that type of experience. So,
But you also have European experience, and you have to tell them what that means and why it's so important that it makes you so different.
Well, the European training is, and I'll give you an example, like here when you become a mechanic or a baker or anything on that end, you go to 6 months of training and then you're a baker or a mechanic or whatever. When you're European trained, you actually have to go through years of training. Mm-hmm. And so the same thing in the stone industry. Like Seamus, my husband, which is my partner in the business, or mostly, he has actually learned in Ireland. He went to Australia, he learned there in London, and he was never able to call himself a fabricator or a stonemason, within 6 months. So that's years of training. Our guys, like my son Travis, what also works for us, or with us, not for us, but with us, since he's 17 years old. I mean, he had to have 7 years of apprenticeship in order to actually call himself a fabricator. So that means he had to learn stone from A to Z. And the example is when I, used to hire people in, or guys in, and, they would come in and go, oh, I've been the foreman here, and so, and then 3 years or 5 years or whatever. And when you tell them, it says, okay, that sounds good. Go out and the lads will give you a piece of stone and give me a bullnose by hand, and then bring it back to me, and I have a look. And they look at you like you have two heads. By hand? Yes. If you really know the craft and you want to repair things, you need to know how to repair it by hand, not the machines. So
what I want to know too right now is, as you're talking, it's so interesting. Stone. Why do you have to know it so well? What makes natural stone so different, right? Okay.
Well, because you have the different types of stone. And you take, for instance, travertine with softer, then you have the marbles, then you have the soapstones, then you have the granites. So you have all these different stones, and each of them, it takes millions of years before it even forms that it's a granite or a marble or something. So then within the stone, you have natural crystals and all kinds of stuff. So you have hardness and softness within. So if you do not know what type of stone you have in front of you, either A, you can burn it by polishing, you can ruin it, literally, if you don't know what you're doing. And so there's a process between polishing and repairs and all kinds of stuff. If you do not know what you have in front of you, how are you going to repair or restore if you don't know?
Right.
So,
and also for the fact that they are European trained, you can come in, and I know you've been on before many times talking about how you can walk in literally and see with your own eye right away where there's cracks, what's going on,
Right.
and how to do it.
Right, and well, a lot of times too, I mean, you have natural cracks, okay, so there are, like I said, there's crystal lines going through and stuff like this, so there's a natural crack in there, or there's cracks because there's an underlying cause, or somebody did something, okay? So, and just the other day, we saw an install, and James just fixed it, when somebody put a top on, and all of a sudden, there's voids underneath, between the countertop and the stone.
And it happens a lot, I bet.
Yeah, and
And
so
people
any
don't
pressure,
care.
yeah, but any type of pressure down or whatever, a lot of people don't know. So if you, for instance, people have a tendency, if you have a cleaner, they step on your countertop and clean up on your cabinets, guess what? If there's a void underneath, you're gonna have a crack.
Wow.
So there's just different things, or, you know, like sink section. Sink sections have a tendency the stone will crack all the time, okay? And one of it is, the older days, they put in the rods. Well, sink always has silicone around it, okay, in order to prevent water to go underneath. Well, if you don't take care of that portion and make sure you maintain your silicone, water travels, stone gets wet, rod will get rusty, and what it does, it expands, and that cracks.
Mhm.
And so I seen it on other people's repair. They don't go in and take that rod out because it's really difficult to literally take the stone apart, take the rod out, and then put it back into place like nothing happened.
Mhm.
So what happens is they go in, they repair the crack, and then 3 months, 4 months later, guess what happens?
It cracks
It
again.
cracks again because you never removed the rod.
Mm.
And yes, it's a little bit more expensive to do that process, but hey, you pay, how many times you wanna pay for that crack repair?
Mhm.
That's the other question.
Well, you know, what I love about them is that, first of all, you have been around for 30 years. You are 5-star rated everywhere.
Like
You have
years.
done
Yeah.
work in a lot of hotels,
Yeah.
buildings here, so much. And when you're looking to do something like this, first of all, you want it done right. You know, do it right. Now, you have to maintain them. We're going to talk about that when we come back. And what you want to do is you want to go check them out on their website, which is kingsworldofmarble.org. You can also go on to Facebook, and you can see them at Kings World of Marble Maintenance. Now, they're licensed, bonded, and insured. They work statewide, and you can call them direct. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. Their phone number is 602-451-2689. And what I love about them too is, if you honestly, you should have things, have a second opinion, right? Have somebody come in and check it out. More than likely, your stones are cracked, and you got to fix them.
Right. Well, a lot of times what we have said too, when somebody goes like, well, we're gonna look through and we're gonna get other opinions.
Right.
And we always say that, yes, get another quote.
Sure.
And the other quote might be cheaper, but for instance, if I have to completely redo the countertop, I would say, you know what, let them give you a sample. So you see what the finish is gonna be, and most of them won't. So how do you know what you're even gonna end up with if that's what you actually wanna end up with? So that's for the restoration part. On the crack end of it, the same like I said earlier before, and I just had a client who said, you know what, you have a crack, and here's the reasons why. So if you get another opinion, find out what they're gonna actually do.
Call them direct. Their phone number is 602-451-2689. Check them out. They're 5-star rated everywhere. kingsworldofmarble.org. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
So that was fun. That was good.
Yeah?
I talked a lot, didn't
It's good. I like it like that. We're still live on Facebook.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But when you come in to do a job, okay, and a lot of people have stone everywhere in
Right.
their houses now. You can do flooring.
Yep.
So we've never really talked about flooring too
Well,
much.
there's flooring is, it's,
Because a lot of people, what I hate about, we have these big, heavy pots now.
Right.
And they're wonderful.
yep,
But,
they leave a ring.
what?
They leave a ring a lot of times.
They leave a ring, but you want to know what else? When you drop it,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
What do you think it happens?
Oh, you're talking about cooking pots?
Yes.
Oh, I
What
was
were you
talking
saying?
about because we're talking about floor.
Yes,
Yeah.
but okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay,
So you
so-
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Well, I was talking about the big planters. When you have a big plant or something and
Oh.
waterings and stuff like
Yeah.
this. so
Now what
that-
happens with that? Can you fix that?
Yeah.
We never talked about rings.
Yeah. Well, we're so busy talking about cracks. So yeah, we do. But that's what it is. There's a lot of different floors and there's a lot of companies out there that do strictly flooring.
Okay.
And so we do flooring, not as much, but a lot of times we get called back in again too, because especially in travertine or something, they go over it and then there's a crack. Because concrete underneath or.
Well, the houses,
everything
shakes, everything moves.
Well, not just that, I told you about the problem I have in mind, right?
Which one?
The one I live in. Big tree from the neighbor.
The roots.
The roots are
Oh,
going.
no.
Yeah, and I saw them.
Roots.
Yeah, I saw them. We're already back on again. I saw them when we put the concrete in. The roots were going under my patio. And
Wow.
now my patio, I have stone on my patio, it starts to crack. I have like 4 or 5 different cracks, and we're looking at it, we fixed it, and it starts
Keeps
to.
on cracking.
Yeah, keeps on cracking. And
So
that's
what
roots.
do you do?
Well,
Nothing?
we try to fix it or whatever, but right now I'm in dispute with not the neighbor, but
Oh,
there's
for them to get rid of their tree.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if that keeps on growing like that, a lot of times those roots will really get involved with your plumbing.
And it's a huge tree. It's actually, there's a medical center behind us. Okay?
Oh.
And they planted the trees way too close to my fence line. So my fence is starting to move.
So you gotta talk to
No, so
them.
they've put like all these different pillars on the outside because they're trying to get me to do something. And I'm like, are you kidding? Look at the tree. And I showed it. I go, see that root right there? That lifts up my fence. You do something. It's your problem, not mine.
Mhm.
And so then they put the pillars on. But the next thing I know, here we are. My agency, my HRA says, what are the pillars?
We are talking about, I love it. I always say this when we go to a break. We're
Right.
really on Facebook land here. And it's cool. Go on to Networking Arizona on Facebook and you can watch us in here doing the show live, which is really fun to do.
Right.
And of course, during the break, especially when I'm talking to someone like Alexandra, we have a lot of fun,
Yeah.
because especially when we're talking about fixing people's cracks and all that. But one of the things that I started to talk to you about was flooring.
Right.
Because you also can do flooring.
Yes.
And we started talking, and actually she didn't understand what I was
I know.
asking.
You talk
And
about
she's
pots
talk-
and I talk about different pots.
Yeah, and well, there's different pots, and the reason why it's okay to bring it up
Right.
is because I was talking about, how now we have this
Cooking pots.
wonderful cookware that's heavy,
Mm-hmm,
right?
right.
But have you ever dropped one of those? Okay, and what happens to your floor, especially if you've got stone?
Yeah, travertine or
Doesn't-
limestone
It's
or
going,
whatever.
it's cracking,
Yep, it's cracking.
it's out, and so you fix things like that?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and then we were talking, and she thought that we were talking about a different type of
The
pot.
planters.
The planter pots,
Yeah.
right?
And they get bigger. So-
Yeah,
And a lot of times.
and they're
water-
heavy too,
Yeah,
some
they're
of
very
them.
heavy, or the rings, or sometimes when some companies will come and polish up or maintain the floor, they don't move everything. So all of a sudden, when you actually wanna move the plant, all of a sudden you have a ring underneath, or it's a different polish, because it's too heavy to move.
Mm. But it creates a ring, you said, and I asked
Yeah.
you, can you fix that?
Yes,
You see,
Yep.
there's so many different things that you can do, and a lot of people would just take that out and try and just refix it
Right.
themselves. Which, what do you think about that?
oh God. the
Please
soap-
don't.
Oh, please don't.
Right? Because how many calls do you get a day?
That's all I can say, please don't.
Yeah, because people call you all the time. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I don't know what I'm doing. It looks terrible,
Mhm.
and you can
Well,
come and
that's
fix.
what the main problem a lot of times is on the cracks. They just put something in there and they don't realize whatever you stick in there, I have to dig out, and that crack actually becomes bigger.
Please don't stick anything into your
Yeah.
cracks.
No.
Please.
don't.
That's the first thing.
Yeah. Let me fix your cracks, okay?
And it's, okay, we have to say it, the word on the street is that if King's World of Marble can't fix it, nobody can. So you wanna check them out on their website, which is kingsworldofmarble.org. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. They've been here for 30 years, helping people with their cracks and fixing them, and a lot more. We're gonna talk about maintenance. They are 5-star rated everywhere, rated with the Better Business Bureau. They work statewide. Their phone number to call is 602-451-2689. We do have to mention something, and that is what you do with real estate agents too, which is so nice. Go ahead and talk about that for a minute.
Well, like I said before, I've been been personally in real estate for 17 years, and now understanding that industry and my industry it's something quite interesting. And a lot of times when you have a inspection done before you sell your house or while during the process, well, a lot of times the inspectors really don't realize what's broken on the stone, what needs to be maintained, what needs to be repaired, and some of the repairs can be pretty costly. Okay, so before you list a home or during the time you list a home, you can do a couple things. A, have us in for an inspection, so we'll tell you what needs to be done. B, you can have us in to do a maintenance and spruce it up so your countertop looks like new again, so that's definitely a plus. But you want to know what the repair cost is, so then you can say, okay, we can use that and we can use it for the closing, okay, and give you an allowance, or you can have it done prior to. So that's one thing. On the flip side, when the house is sold and there's needs to be a maintenance done or any type of repairs, you as a realtor then can give them a gift certificate and says, you know what, I'm gonna kick in X amount of dollars for your maintenance.
What would you rather have? And most houses have stone.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them do.
Yeah.
What would you rather have, a bottle of wine or having your cracks fixed? No.
Well, that can be questionable.
I guess. But we're gonna talk about some other things. This is the thing is that this is to offer you, and if you are a real estate agent, what a wonderful thing. I think it's a great idea.
Right.
You can call them direct. Their number is 602-451-2689. This is another problem that we never talked about, and you've been on the show for a couple of years now,
Okay.
and that's roots. People's roots from outside that are growing, their trees are growing, and the roots are going under, because guess what? We moving all the time.
Right.
And that's why some cracks happen. Some are natural, that from God.
Right.
And some are from roots, from trees that need to be, they need to be getting out. Oh, how do you say that? Taken out.
Yeah, take it out or eliminate it.
Eliminated, that's a good word.
Well, I just told you about the story about mine.
Yeah.
Where we have a medical center behind us, and they've planted these huge trees, fast-growing trees, right next to our fence line. And when we did the concrete in the back, I was watching the roots, and I have a waterfall there and all kinds of stuff, so water features, and guess what roots like is water.
Mm.
And so all I noticed that there's a lot of heavy roots underneath my concrete coming towards my house. And now I have stone on my patio. Well, guess what that does? It's cracking my stone on my patio.
Sure.
So I've never had cracks, not this kind of cracks, but I never had cracks in my stone. But now I do. And so now I'm like in dispute with the home association next door, going like, what are you gonna do? And so the other day it's actually 6 months ago, we looked and it starts to lift up my fence line.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to tell me, you need to fix it. I go,
Yeah.
Your tree is doing that, and it's humongous, it's huge. So I go, can you imagine the size of the tree? That root system is 10 times the size.
Right.
So it's going everywhere. So it's,
Yeah,
cautious
and a
on the-
lot of people have it in their own home.
Yeah.
The roots can be very bad.
Yeah, and I love trees. Okay, I'm a person who don't cut down a tree if you
Right,
don't
I
have to or
understand
whatever.
that. But there's certain
there's
times.
certain trees are just they're very dirty.
Mhm.
Okay, and I have all this foliage constantly going into my waterfall,
Mhm.
and that's all natural stone in the waterfall.
I'm sure.
So,
Go ahead.
And so trying to maintain that one is a pain in the, you know what?
Yeah.
So,
But you know, here's what we're gonna talk about again, maintain.
Maintenance.
Maintenance is so important, maintenance.
Yeah.
How many people think about their stone when they walk in and go, I gotta maintain that? Nobody,
Most
Most
of
people
them
don't.
No.
right?
When we did the fabrication, we always literally put our clients on a yearly basis.
Mm.
You have to do that. So we educated them.
Right,
But most of them won't do this.
No.
So I have people would have their granite in for 10 years and they go, oh my God. And I'm like, you know, as soon as I touch it, you can see it.
mm-hmm.
You know, put a little bit of water and everything soaks in. So think about it, that's a natural stone. So anything and everything you put on the countertop will soak into your stone. Okay? And so just alone on that, if you're not sealing it on a regular base, God knows what's in there. Okay, so. but a
And
good-
people think that it's, you know, so strong,
Yeah.
right? And they put lots of things on it. I mean, and you're cooking and you don't put a pad down, and its stone is going to crack. And the main problem in the kitchen, obviously, is a
Right.
sink, right?
Right.
So, you can help with that, but you tell people, please call me before you buy your sinks,
Right.
right?
Oh yeah, that's in the sinks, when
In
you
the
do
sink
the
department,
exchange, yeah.
right.
That's a different department now, I guess.
Yeah, we're going into the
You're
sink
moving
department.
me today, aren't
Yeah.
you?
So but the sinks is a big problem.
Well, it is it's the modification now, you know, people going from the 2 sinks
To the one.
to the one. Okay, or 3 sinks, like
Right, if they
3
want
little
that.
things to the
Right.
one, and so they go out and run and buy the sink, and then you're going like, yeah, I can make the hole bigger, but I can't make it smaller,
Mhm.
you know, so get us out there first, let us measure, walk you through what works and what doesn't work, and then it makes life a lot easier.
And all that water in the sink that you're washing on a daily basis,
Yeah.
what you're doing, and all of that soaks in
Yeah,
to your stone. This is the thing about it, and you've got to make sure that you maintain,
Right.
maintenance, it's so important. Now, what were you gonna say?
but the same as with showers.
Okay, so there you go. That's another thing, now everybody's got stone in their
Yeah.
showers too.
So same thing there too, you need to maintain, you need to seal, you know, and even if you just have porcelain, you know, you still, the grout lines, get them sealed.
So if you're gonna do it, have you call them, because they're experienced, they're European trained, and they know what they're doing. Their phone number to call direct is 602-451-2689. If you are a real estate agent out there, that's a great gift to give anyone. If you're listening and you've got somebody that's gonna buy a home, call them and get that from them. That's a wonderful gift. Again, that number is 602-451-2689. You can check them out. It's kingsworldofmarble.org.